Hello world of YouTube, and welcome to a very different video than I was intending to drop today, but I figured because I'll be doing a music related list next week and I won't be doing the listening log on the first of the month because I rarely do that anymore. Instead, we're going to get hyper specific and talk about the minutia of one particular song, a song that I've already talked about in a few instances. You guys already know it's one of my favorite posse cuts of all time, but it's a track that I personally also draw a lot of inspiration from in various facets. It's a track that completely captured my heart upon first listening to it, and it's easily still one of the hardest sets of rappers in a track together. I'm talking about The Last Huzzah by Mr. Motherfucking Exquire.
No, we had to do a remix, right? Take that, take that.
And I'm sure I'll talk about all of the things that I draw inspiration from this track in particular in this video, but I figured why not go through and talk about the feature list, talk about the rappers a little more specifically in a tier list type fashion. So we've got everybody here. We got all the peeps. We got Despot. We got Koolaid, sadly. We got Heems. We got Danny. We got L. And we got the man himself, Mr. Motherfucking Exquire. Today I'm going to be putting all of the rappers in specific tiers, talking about their verses, what I like about them, what I don't, all that sort of stuff, and a fun video. Now, if you haven't heard this song, I highly implore you to do so. I think that it would be
breast milk, you made my day.
In your benefit, since I'll be breaking down the lyrics and all that sort of stuff. Now, the track itself, after Mr. Motherfucking Exquire comes in with his I'm gonna do a 40, because that's a whole bit with this video, is everyone talks about what they're drinking before they go hard in the verses. Again, this song is just dope as fuck. And we get the hook of the song, which is
drunk driving on a Wednesday with 3 bitches in an MPV.
One of my favorite hooks in modern hip hop. I love the drunk driving on a Wednesday, 3 bitches in a MPV, half a gallon of Georgia Porgy. Like that whole, it's just a fun chorus. It's great. I've talked about that in the one video, but we're gonna go into the first rapper on the track. Despot, a rapper that's been around for a long time without any projects under his belt, but he crops up a lot on features, and during this era, he was kind of back in some sort of prominence. He was kind of flexing on a lot of dudes' tracks in a cool way. You know, Despot's got a nice cold flow. I like a lot of his lyrics on here, and I like the imagery he spins from the drink that he's got himself. His drink is 1 vodka soda poured over 4-leaf clovers, which is a sort of a cereal liquor cocktail, and he spins that sort of Lucky Charms 4-leaf clovers vibe into a lot of his verse, where he talks about, you know, the struggle he's seen on his side of the rainbow. He be the luckiest fuck this side of the rainbow you know of. You know, he spins it into really vivid imagery with he's seen the blood and the guns and the gang signs get thrown up. He's seen the fight and the fuss for that same pot of gold, spinning that imagery in there. And he talks about how even in this state, he's not going to switch it up at all. He's staying true to himself, even if he is trying to get a little goofy. And I appreciate that. I like that for a dude that seemingly plays it pretty stone cold and straight. He still has his own imagery and funness that he does spin in his own sort of way. It's not my favorite verse on the track. There's definitely better verses on the track, ones that lean into the party stuff or just have dope bars, but I feel like this couldn't have been any other verse but the opener. It's a great opening to the track, IMO, and I think that it's a really solid verse, in my opinion. I'm putting it in the B. It's a great solid start, and then from there, we go to Koolaid, who is the mellower half of the long-defunct Das Racist, a group that I really enjoyed when they came out. I was a big fan of Das Racist. I still am. I was listening to their tapes earlier today. I'm a big fan of what Das Racist brought to the scene. They're a big inspiration to me and the music that I make. Specifically, the writing style and the energy and all that sort of stuff. But Koolaid's mellow flow isn't awful. It's just something I've never looked into outside of Das Racist. And given some of the shit that's happened with them, maybe that was for the best. But he opens his verse with that same smoothness and some really great rhyme scheme and rhyme flipping with the beer and whiskey shots, which is his drink, and a weirder than 50, Pac, Biggie, or Ricky Ross, I'm Jiggy, I'm Vicky Vasquez. And he's got this fun sort of melody play, this minimal melody play that I think works really well for his verse. You know, he spins it into some fun basketball wordplay. Don't love the game, shot clocking above the game. Ballers and shot callers be calling me Bob Costas. I'm a mortal technique, I'm obnoxious. Like, he's just got a fun verse that's really fun to spin with. And he's got, you know, references to Keenan and Kel, other rappers like Nas, and Tupac with the translating Don Illuminati into Spanish. He's got fun bars, he's got fun wordplay. Again, not my favorite verse on the song, but it's another solid follow-up to Despot's point in the track, and I feel like it's not awful. I think out of the Das Racist ones, I like his the least, but I think Koolaid's is fine enough. You know, I'm just putting it in the B tier as well. You know, it's got a little more fitting into the vibe than Despot's, but, you know, ultimately, I think the last 4 rappers on the track do a better job at doing that. And going from there, we go from Koolaid into Heems, the boy Heems. I like Heems a lot. I think Heems is a great rapper, both in Das Racist and in the feature work that I've heard him in and some of his solo stuff. I like Heems a lot. I think that he's a pretty good rapper, and he knows how to go off or to fit a vibe really well, and I feel like he does that on Last Huzzah really well. He brings the chorus back in with Drunk Driving on a Wednesday. All my friends be, he like spins the chorus of it a little bit, which is what a lot of his verse is, which I think is really smart. You know, not only does he flip the chorus of this song, he references the track off a Das Racist record, Relax, that came out last year with Ayo, Michael Jackson as Monty Python. He flips the track of theirs that is still seen and shown in prominence to this day on apps like TikTok with Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, with the I'm at the Pizza Hut, I'm at the Taco Bell, the combination made my eyes bleed, which is like a Wu-Tang flip, which is so Das Racist. But he also just has some fun flow switch-ups and just energy in the track that hasn't been seen yet on the track itself. You know, I feel like he's a good introduction to the back half of the track, and I feel like it's really good. You know, I feel like it's a really fun verse. I am gonna put him in the A tier, to be honest. I think Heems just has a lot of fun on this verse. He's the sort of energy the track needed to sort of ramp up into the back half of the track. You know, he closes the track with the worst rapper on this track, third coolest. I don't agree, Heems. I think that you're easily one of the better parts, one of the better components of this track, and definitely a great contribution here. And then from there, we go to an artist that I was honestly making a completely separate video on that is still going to come out. I just didn't want to get wrapped up in back-to-back lists that are pretty similar in style. I wanted to do something a little different, which is also why I sort of decided to do this today. But you'll see that video, and you'll hear me possibly talk about the song again on there. But it's Danny Brown. I'm talking about Danny Brown next. Danny Brown, Detroit rapper that I really love. And again, you'll find out more about that here soon. But this verse in particular came out amidst his XXX surgence. He was really getting a lot of exposure and a lot of positive feedback in good ways. That's how I got into him. I like XXX a lot, and I feel like one of the things that really drew me to Danny Brown on that tape especially, and on features like on here, is his personality shines incredibly well. You know, he does a great job at painting a picture while being this just huge personality on a track. You know, his drink of choice is straight shots of Cuervo, but he's also taking blunts to the neck to show you that he's getting a little crossfaded. Getting a little crossfade action going on. But from there, he goes into that grimy imagery, you know, got a rap bitch that smoked blacks until the plastic melt, before going really hard into aspects of his life prior to this, or to sort of lead into his come up, where like, my legacy is shining like a diamond on a tan in bed. And then he goes really hard with the lines of, instead you trying to get ahead, like a stray bullet you misled. I'm about my bread, you ain't, you can roll. Try to stop that, get a bagel-sized hole. Like, dude, that's hard as fuck. And he just talks more about his past and him really trying to come up, him coming up on the come up, and how him and his friends are going to take the world over, you know, because he's Blunt's Paul Bunyan. I really like Danny Brown's verse, man. It's not my favorite on here, but it's definitely top 3 status. I like maybe top 4. I always debate whether I like Heems or Danny's more, but I really like Danny's verse on this track, and I think it's as good at least as Heems. I'm putting it in the A tier. I think it's a really good verse, to be honest with you. I think Danny kills it. I think he does a really good job. And yeah, we're gonna roll with there. And then from there, we get the man. We get LP. LP, one of my favorite rappers of all time. I've talked about LP here and there on the channel. I like LP a lot. I think he's a really good rapper. I think he's a great producer, but I love him as a rapper. And I'm really excited to the places his career has gone post Cancer for Cure. I've loved the Run the Jewels era a lot, and I feel like this verse cemented him as like furthermore as a voice you need to be following. If you hadn't caught on to him yet, you need to. And I say this just because like this is easily like one of my favorite verses of his in the genre. Generally, just as a rap verse, it's dope as hell. I tried to recreate this verse on my mixtape.
Line up 3 shots and I'll get a good buzz. It's 4 a.m. and I'm afraid of the fuzz.
I like this verse a lot, you know, and I feel like it's just something I really like. And it's S tier, obviously. And he opens it with his drink, like everyone else has, straight shots of Sterno, but then he adds a little more with the wick stuck in the bottle empty, which leads into how the whole story of his verse in general. You know, every single bar he's counting a little. 3 blocks to the target, we lit it and lob it hard at Sentry. 4 pigs of the Orkin variety, guard the market entry. 5 minutes of flames and then aim the whistle. My father let me. 6 o'clock, we meet up and divvy the shells among the youngins. 7 continents in the shit and smoke like it's fucking London. Bro, he keeps going until he gets to 16. And it's this massive flex of his ability as a songwriter, as a storyteller, and just as a dope-ass rapper. I love this verse. Easily the highlight of the track to me. Like, I really love all the other verses on here, and I really love Mr. Muthafuxin, as you'll get to hear me say as I'll get to in a second. But LP's does a lot of the coldness that, like, Koolaid D and Despot did on the first intro to the track, but it's got that little edge that sets it above everything before it, while also just talking about a fucking wild and crazy night like Danny and Heems tried to in parts of their imagery. It's just, it's cold, but it's so amazing. But from there, we still got one more up on the docket to talk about from the last Huzzah, and that's Mr. Motherfucking Exquire. Now, Mr. Motherfucking Exquire has a hell of a lead-in from L, and I feel like from there, he continues to do what everyone else on the track has done as far as showcasing his personality while weaving some really good imagery, some good wordplay, some good metaphors into the cut. Now, he doesn't start off his verse with a drink because he already did that in the intro. We all know he had his 40. So now, he just comes up with the same kind of energy that like Danny Brown had, talking about his come up, you know, but he's showcasing that he's not quite a shining diamond on a tanning bed yet. You know, he has a couple thousand views on YouTube, but he's still hungry. He's got no food in his stomach and his pockets are fucked up. Plus his mom still works. And that ain't cool. You know, but he also talks about how he's not trying to be the same sort of industry cat that maybe some of the people in here have been, and all that sort of stuff, where he talks about fucking a blog, fucking labels, fuck meetings, A&Rs, no cosigns. He wants to do it his own way, and he spins some, you know, analogies of feeling like Holden Caulfield and Catcher in the Rye before getting really fucking dirty in that Exquire way with skull fucker, smut, nut, and try to catch it in a rye. With big belly, still take my shirt off like Nelly. Like, he's just showcasing, those 3 bars alone showcase his ability to have really good imagery and wordplay with a comedic edge that just gets raw and grimy as fuck, all while spinning dope bars into the verse. It's a great outro to the track, and I feel like it's a good sort of, again, lead-in to his verse in particular, and I feel like he gets in the cut in a way that's a little underrated. I think Mr. Motherfucking Exquire had some great bars. He had some great hooks. He had some great flow. And I'm putting him up in the S tier, right there with L. But before we go, we have a surprise challenger. Me, motherfuckers, I rapped on this beat.
But my corpse is looking tasty like some challah-type bread. Better double tap the zombie with the bullet to the head. Brains are splattered on the walls with the hollow point spread.
I rapped on it from my mixtape on Scott the Spatula. A stupid-ass track, heavily inspired by Danny's verse in particular. Danny's verse really inspired my verse on this tape. And I think that it's dope, and you should hear it. It's an A-tier verse, baby.
It was bound to flesh, animated, ghastly sound like...
Nah, but really, I like the last Huzzah. I've talked about that a lot. I think the beat that Necro made is really dope. I feel like it's a really good posse cut, and I feel like, seriously, everybody here is punching at a caliber that is incredible. I think that it's a great track. It's a lot of fun. It's got a great theme to it, and I feel like every rapper plays into the theme really well while showing off their own respective personalities. But that's my thoughts on this hyper-specific tier list. What'd you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know in those comments down below. If you did like it, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdy content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons. If you want to join the ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community, it's linked in the description. I'm going to get out of here, though. Thank you again so very much for watching this. I don't know if I'll do stuff like this on videos in the future, but I am thinking about doing streams of specific tier lists like this. Let me know what you think of that idea as well in the comments down below. Not necessarily short ones like this, ones that are a bit more broad and have a lot more substance to them. But this is sort of me teasing the waters myself creatively with this, and I kind of dug it. But I want to know what you think. I'm going to get out of here. I've been Valor Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.